Okay, this is going to be a short video. Nothing special, nothing fancy. I'm just making some low-carb stuffing. You could use the same exact recipe almost to make regular non-low-carb stuffing if you wanted. But what I've got today, normally I just put a stick of butter and some chicken bouillon or chicken stock in there. And then I add some garlic and oregano, a little bit of basil, some sage. I'd say about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, a tablespoon of sage, half a tablespoon of oregano, about a half a tablespoon of basil, a good couple, 2 or 3 tablespoons of minced garlic, the refrigerated kind, but if you use fresh, that's, 3 or 4 cloves, I guess. But then I take and I've chopped up 6 sticks of celery, about 2/3 of a medium-sized carrot, which is really only about 7 carbs, and half an onion, which has got almost as many carbs as the carrot. And what I'm just going to take, what you do is you put them in here and you let them simmer. Let them simmer for a little while. Stir them together and just let them simmer on a medium-low heat until the vegetables are nice and tender. And then I'll show you what to do next. Now, some alternates. You might want more carrots, especially if you love carrots and you don't have to worry about carbs. Maybe more onion for the same reason. Some people put raisins in their stuffing. I'm not one of those. There's lots of different things people put in the stuffing. Now I like to cut my vegetables up small so they mix in thoroughly and I get a little bit in every bite. I don't have any big crunchy pieces of onion or celery in my stuffing, because that's the way I like it. If you've seen my video on how to chop things up, you'll find out I like to chop things up small. And if you wish you could but you don't know how, I'll put a link in the description right above here to give you the how-to, so you'll know how to cut things up easily and quickly, so it won't be such a chore. So, we'll be back in a little while, and I'll finish this recipe. As you can see, I put a decent amount of butter in there, and normally I'd put in a whole stick. I only put in about 2/3 of a stick this time because I made my own chicken stock out of chicken skins and fat that I trimmed off of some chicken breasts that I made something with that I didn't want fat on. And so it has some chicken fat in it, so I didn't need as much butter. Okay, as you can see, it's been simmering for a little while and cooked down. The vegetables are nice and soft. I would say as a recipe, I started out with about a quart of water, some chicken bouillon, a few tablespoons worth, or a few cubes, depends on how you want to look at it. A good tablespoon or 2 of granulated garlic, a few cloves, depends on how you want to look at it, depends on how much you like garlic. Half an onion, 5 sticks of celery, medium-sized carrot cut up into little pieces. I put about 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, 1 tablespoon of sage, half a tablespoon of basil in there, and about a half a tablespoon of Lowry seasoned salt. It's just not quite right without the Lowry's. I don't know what it does, but just not quite right without it. And I let it simmer and cook down some. Now we're ready to dump this part into that part. What is that? Well, as you might have noticed on my channel, I make several different kinds of keto breads. I have rye bread, I have hot dog buns, I have wheat bread, and I'm currently working on another type of bread to make a video about and put a recipe on the internet for you. And these are what was left of my mistake loaves. They weren't bad. The biggest problem I'm having is getting them to rise properly so that they become bread instead of just a heavy wet baguette. So where we go from here, I'm doing this one-handed, so please bear with me. You take it, you try to gently pour it in there. And being I'm right-handed, I'm going to switch hands here. You got to mix it all together. did was I took the rest of that bread and I cubed it up. I put it in this pan, put it in the oven. That's why it's kind of dark brown looking. I put it in the oven and I baked it because I was afraid it would mold before it got dry. It's summertime down here in Florida and things don't dry real fast. And the bread was a little moister than it should have been. That was why it didn't rise. It didn't rise, it was just too wet. And so I thought I better bake it, so I baked it to get it crunchy. Just mix this together until all the liquid is soaked up by the dry bread. And then you can serve it as is, or I like to put it back in the oven. Get it nice and hot. Blend the flavors a little bit. And then eat it. And you can do this with regular bread too. I unfortunately don't have any rye in there. I really prefer to have rye bread in my stuffing mix. But I don't have any in there right now because I've been too busy making this new bread to make any rye bread. The rye bread's my favorite. It is fantastic. Tastes just like real rye bread. So you have to take a look at that. I'll put a link in the description. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more videos about keto cooking, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. And we'll keep making them.